Student beneficiaries graduate with honors from Ghanaian University. More groups acknowledge amnesty programs' resounding successes. Plus, tidbits, fact file, and more. Good day to you out there and welcome to Reintegration 30,000. I am Stella Inamiti and it is wonderful to be back with yet another promising package. By the way, we have been getting a lot of feedback from many of you out there and we appreciate every comment and contribution. We hope to make this episode very enlightening as we showcase some recent gains of the Presidential Amnesty Program. We will begin, as usual, by bringing you a segment we consider as the core of the Amnesty Project, A Changed Story. Our Changed Story for this week has since had the rare opportunity to contrast his former lifestyle with his current state of affairs. And I can assure you he is a totally committed advocate of the Presidential Amnesty Program. It is easier for you to understand his reason, maybe, after you hear from him yourself. Let's bring you a changed story.
I am Maxine Dakoro from Kola Town in Akokotaro local government area, Rivers State. For me, I'm a living testimony. I was a cultist. From cultist, you know, this usually street cult, and yeah. So from cultist, I became a militant, which means I entered the river to be in the creeks, to be, you know, doing piracy like pipeline vandalization, bunkering, which myself and my friends, we even had points, which we usually get fuel. Yeah. Actually, back then, I did a lot, which, you know, cannot be mentioned because that's the correction I'm trying to, you know, make. I was just risking my life for someone else, you know. It's really serious there in the creeks. Survival, and sometimes I'll be in the creek for more than a year in a camp. You know, where in all these militant camps, we usually have the white, black, and red. Sometimes it's just like that, but unfortunately, I joined the squad that is just the red, which is just to go and destroy. I don't go for peaceful movements. But amnesty came and I was asked to bring all those guns I was assigned to, which I did. I brought them, we added it to the general, you know, guns we want to submit. And so that was how I saw amnesty as the game-changing point. So I embraced amnesty and that was how I get to the point I am. After embracing for a while, I studied the program and I was asking what would be the best thing for a man to do. At least this is a very good opportunity. I've not seen a program like this, you know, that is connected to the poor more. I waited the batch 8, which they are going to Obubara for the training, you know, trying to rehabilitate before they will take you, push you into programs and all the rest. So which I did, and I took education. Later then I was called and I studied under this program, the Presidential Amnesty Program. I studied in Malaysia. Limpopo University of Creative Technology, which I got my second class upper. I came back and was engaged by the special advisor to the president of Niger Delta. I was engaged and it was really helpful. You know, I was not idle after graduation, and here I am working in the office of the special advisor to the president of Niger Delta. I'm a living testimony, I must confess that, with my past experience. And you know, I'm a graduate, you know, under this program. The office has spent a lot on me. For 4 years out there, you know, it's easy to go back to your past if you're not busy, you know, you're not connected, you're not engaged. Assuming I'm not engaged, maybe they'll keep tempting me, and maybe sometimes I'll be totally broke and I'll start thinking, I have a full show, and the fact is that I have more responsibility for the society, the government, not just myself. You know, there's this, I have to pay back the kindness the government showed to me, you know. The special thanks goes to the SA, the special advisor to the president on Niger Delta, and the coordinator of the Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Borough. He's my role model.
Of course, Maxon is poised to develop himself further by engaging in ventures that would positively impact on not just his well-being, but on society as well. In many ways, gaining quality education, formal education, creates access and provides the needed leverage to spring and achieve goals set. The Presidential Amnesty Program apparently understands the imperatives for quality education and has been active in helping interested delegates pursue their educational dreams. This week on Insight, we will take a look at the education component of the Presidential Amnesty Program. The Education Scholarship component of the Presidential Amnesty Program is clearly one of its many successes. From the onset, specifically designed targets were set by the Amnesty Office, bordering on the classes of delegates to be trained, where and in what discipline. In the first instance, the possible engagement of student delegates applied to all participants of the Presidential Amnesty Program, but leaned more towards those academically inclined and keen on furthering their education.
From the onset of the program, during the documentation process for the beneficiaries, they did indicate which fields of endeavor they would like to undertake training, and our data department has those records. And prior to deployment to schools, we rely on these records, and those delegates in our database that have indicated educational training are those that are primarily considered.
The essence for selecting these delegates is apparent. Education is key to any meaningful development, balancing the scale of knowledge and power, as well as providing leverage for poverty eradication and wiping out total ignorance. The Presidential Amnesty Program realizes the imperatives for a knowledge-driven society and has since 2009 given full education scholarships to thousands of youth from the region.
Over the years, we've trained more than 2,000 students in institutions abroad, and the program has been very, very successful because we've had students in the best institutions all over the world, and they have excelled everywhere they have gone. The feedback has been very, very good in terms of feedback from what has been happening over the years. So we are very proud of what we've done over the years, and we look forward to continuing with what we've done.
The scope of participation covers payment of tuition fees, in-training allowance and other support services. Most of the beneficiaries have excelled in their chosen areas of studies, with many clinching first and second-class upper honors in disciplines such as medicine, forensic sciences, international diplomacy and law. The Presidential Amnesty Program currently has beneficiaries studying in at least 16 countries around the world and in 15 universities here in Nigeria, both public and privately owned. For instance, records show that in the 2015-2016 academic year, 1,294 delegates were deployed to various universities in the country. Some 681 students delegates graduated within the year under review, 14 with first-class honors and 84 with second-class upper. In fact, the Benson Idahosa University retained 4 students from the program who had first class as lecturers. Delegates of the program who have graduated from Nigerian universities in the year 2017 have also made first class and second class upper division in various disciplines.
In this past session alone, we've achieved up to 21 first class and second class upper delegates, and His Excellency the Special Advisor is very proud of them, and it encourages him to dedicate more time, more effort, more energy towards our delegates in schools. We traverse the schools on periodic basis, encouraging our students, talking to them and counseling them, making them understand that their performance at the end of the day is what will guarantee them a better future for themselves, their families, and by extension, the Niger Delta region.
The performance of student delegates abroad has been stunning as well. Between 2015 and 2016, a total of 454 graduated mainly from 6 British universities alone, with 20 graduating first class and 41 second class upper. In 2017, delegates of the program have made excellent results, including first class and second class upper division from universities abroad.
When I started, to be honest, I wasn't having straight A's. No, my result will show you that first year I was on a 2-2 basically, but first year didn't count because here they allow you to develop. Second year I had to work hard and learn from the mistakes that I've made, and then final year it all came together, and that's how I finished with straight A's and finished with the first class. But yeah, life has moved from a state where I wasn't even sure where I was going onto a place where now I actually have got a scholarship to study a PhD for 4 years without having to pay a single fee.
The reality is Nigerians excel everywhere they find themselves, and our students have not been an exception to that fact. Last year, you may be aware that the Vice President, then Acting President, hosted a number of our students at the Villa who excelled in various institutions. And this has been an ongoing event. Everywhere our students go, they make first class, they make 2-1, they come out with the best grades in the schools. This fact can be confirmed. It's not hearsay. They have been honored everywhere, and we have the facts to prove anybody wants to, verify that.
The Amnesty Office has also ensured the effective management of student delegates abroad through collaboration with Nigerian embassies and high commissions. This has led to a remarkable reduction in student agitations. With a population estimated at 25 million people, the Niger Delta region is primed to benefit from a growing population of college-educated young people.
Human resource development is hugely critical and important to that nation's development and to its sustainability, its survival. A nation's very existence depends on the human resource of its individuals.
You're watching Reintegration 30,000, and time now for our segment Talking Point. We're excited to have as our guest this week the boss himself, Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta and Coordinator of Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Tarila Boro. So good to have you back on the program.
Thank you very much, Stella.
What has changed since the last time you were here in the Agribusiness Hub project of the Amnesty Program? There must be new grounds and new breakthroughs.
Yes, thank you very much. I will start answering this question of our focus on agriculture, on the leadership of Nigeria's interest in the Niger Delta region, in person of His Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, President Muhammadu Buhari. Our present vision for Nigeria is to focus on agriculture, solid minerals, as a way of life for Nigeria to allow for growth, in economic growth or natural development, so that we can move on as a country, as an entity. Me buying that leave from Mr. President saw that the Niger Delta would need agriculture as alternative to the oil that is in place in the region. And I am so passionate about that because with agriculture you cannot go wrong. Agriculture will help in transforming my economy positively, creating job opportunities, as it were, and of course, enhancing the capacity, the financial capacity and position of individuals and their groups. The Presidential Amnesty Program, since inception, has been engaging ex-militants and youth from the impacted communities in the region. So far, about 72% of this number have benefited in terms of training and empowerment. And have about 11% who are in various training and empowerment programs. For now, we have a case load balance of about 9,000 thereabout. My focus here, the amnesty focus, is on ensuring that these 9,000 are engaged in various areas of agriculture and aquaculture, for that matter.
Please speak on the recent gains made in the education sector, but then tell us of your efforts to ensure that student delegates receive their allowances and school fees as and when due.
Another area of concentration in the Niger Delta region Human Capacity Development Initiative is education. Because without education, it becomes difficult to even comprehend issues generally. But if you went to school, you'll be able to appreciate and comprehend issues as they come to bear. And then somebody who develops himself educationally will be able to use facilities available to express himself as against using coercive means. Most uneducated youths are violent because they have not captured, they really have not known how to use their endowment, educational endowment, to express themselves as a way of resolving issues. That is why the Presidential Amnesty Office is so committed to developing the educational capacity of the youths within the program. Only last week we had 19 beneficiaries of the Amnesty Program that graduated from the Cape Coast University in Ghana. The Amnesty Office has helped greatly in transforming the lives of the ex-militants who before now were in the creeks, and they are now better informed internationally, better informed in terms of networking, and better informed in terms of globalization. I think it's a great feat.
Our time is fast spent, but just before we go, What should the people of the Niger Delta and indeed Nigerians expect from the amnesty program in the coming months in terms of trainings and possible empowerment of delegates?
Yes, thank you. A lot more activities are ongoing because the program is on course. I encourage people from the Niger Delta region to be proactive concerning developing the human capacity of themselves, and they should have confidence in the program.
General Boro, it has been a pleasure having you here. Thank you so much for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
We've had as our guests on Talking Point the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta and Coordinator of Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Tarila Boro. Of course, retired, but not tired. It is now time for our segment, PAP in Recap. The Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta and Coordinator Presidential Amnesty Program, Brigadier General Paul Boro, has expressed confidence and optimism in the leadership ability of the youth from the Niger Delta. The Special Advisor made the remark during the 50th convocation ceremony of the University of Cape Coast, Ghana, where 19 beneficiaries of the amnesty program, including ex-agitators and youth from crisis-impacted communities of the region, graduated alongside 6,886 students from different countries. He described education as a veritable platform and catalyst for socio-economic growth and development of the Niger Delta. General Boro was represented at the ceremony by the Chief of Staff, Amnesty Office, Colonel Dedis Abel, retired.
I'm privileged to be a beneficiary here, benefiting from the well-organized and federal government-sponsored program, sending Niger Delta youths out here everywhere around the world to learn and get more exposure and experiences to go back home to impact in our societies and make our society a better one.
I want to say thanks so much to our President Buhari, and also to the Special Advisor on Niger Delta, and also to all the staff.
Meanwhile, the Belarusian ambassador to Nigeria, Vyacheslav Beskosti, led a team from the Belarus State University of Informatics and Radio Electronics on a courtesy visit to the office of the Special Advisor to the President on Niger Delta. The visit was one of gratitude to the Amnesty Office for choosing the Belarusian Institute as one of its foreign training partners for scholarship students under the Amnesty Program. General Boro paid glowing tribute to the university, commending its high degree of excellence and its readiness to offer international students the opportunity to succeed in their chosen areas of discipline. He said this has already given the amnesty beneficiaries an edge, making them better prepared for openings and employment opportunities both within Nigeria and abroad.
I want to thank and appreciate you greatly for tolerating them initially when they arrived in 2012, and the fact that you had to accommodate all their behaviors and attitudes and then transform them for the benefit of the Nigerian society, because their background before they got to Belarus was completely different from now that they're graduating. So I must appreciate you for that.
The Belarusian envoy was accompanied on the visit by the rector of the university, Nikol Shin Baris, as well as embassy and university staff. There were 3 first-class honors recipients who graduated with 26 other amnesty delegates earlier this year from the Belarusian university. And lastly, the Presidential Amnesty Program boss has affirmed that the office is up to date in payment of in-training allowances and tuition fees of students in schools abroad.
As we speak, the Presidential Amnesty Office do not owe students abroad. We have ensured that all those who are in a program have been adequately paid.
This is how we wrap up this episode of the program. Do remember to visit our social media platforms where you can make your comments and contributions. Also remember that Amnesty works. I am Stella Inameti.